Alright guys, I'm going to do a review on the Mossberg 935. Bought this gun about 5 years ago. But actually probably longer than that, probably been 6 or 7 years ago now. But anyhow, 935 are a 3-inch and a 3.5 inch gun. They're not made to shoot and cycle 2 3/4 inch shells. This particular gun, if I have it oiled up real well, it will cycle a brass 2 3/4 inch shell. This particular gun comes with a 28-inch barrel. They come with 3 chokes, improved cylinder, modified and full. And this particular gun, I shot double aught buckshot and triple aught buckshot out of it. The 3-inch Winchester, 3-inch Remington triple aught shoot very well out of this gun. The 3-inch double aughts Winchester and the 3.5-inch Winchester double aughts shoot about the same. I think there's 18 pellets in a 3.5 and 15 or 16 in a 3-inch. So it's really not a big difference on your pellet count between your 3.5 and your 3-inch. Both of which shoot very well out of this gun. Well, I'd say both of which shoot very well. I think the 3-inch, it'll put the whole load in a 30-inch circle at it's probably smaller than that, probably a 24-inch circle at 50 yards. And the 3.5s, it'll put 17 out of 18 in that same circle. So as far as your recoil goes and your pellet count, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. I will shoot 3.5-inch shells, double aughts out of this gun, but for the most part, I will stick with the 3-inch because it's not worth the added cost, not to me anyway. Now, I do have a extended turkey choke for this gun. It's a jelly head. I forget what the constriction is on it now, but I do shoot 3.5-inch number 4 Winchester, number 4 buckshot out of that choke tube. And I don't know if you're familiar with 3.5-inch number 4 buck, but there's 54 pellets in a 3.5-inch number 4 buckshot. Now, generally speaking, I don't take those shells in it with this gun if I'm going to be shooting out to 50 yards. Generally speaking, I like to keep it within 30 to 40 yards with number 4 buckshot because it's not a whole lot of weight to it. It's not a whole lot of knockdown power. Now, when you have that many pellets in there, you do increase your chances of hitting your target, obviously. But pellet count should never be an excuse for poor marksmanship. Practice, shoot well, shoot often, make sure that you keep your skills home, because you're not doing justice to a deer or whatever you're shooting if you're just going to cripple him up and have him run off somewhere and die. Now, this gun, they do come with the rotor recoil pad, but this gun is a little long, even for me, and I did end up ripping it off because, especially in the wintertime, when you're deer hunting or whatever you're doing in the wintertime, you're going to have more clothes on. And when I am left-handed, when I would take and shoulder this gun, I would generally drag that recoil pad up against my coat, so I eventually ended up ripping it off. And I looked at the Limb Saver recoil pads, and they were expensive. I want to say they were in the $30 to $40 price range. So all I did is I went and searched on eBay or Amazon, now I don't remember which one, and I found a neoprene recoil pad for I think $12. Now I just put that on here. Recoil doesn't bother me too much to begin with, but if it does, then you might want to look into something else. This gun does hold 5 3.5-inch shells. No, I think it holds 4 3.5-inch shells, 3 in the tube, 1 in the pipe. It will hold 5 of the 3-inch shells. Now I do also duck hunt. I purchased a Carlson's extended full waterfowl choke tube shortly after I bought this gun, and back then you could get them for around, I think $30 is what I paid for it, but now they're going for in the $50, $60 price range at Bass Pro Shop. When I bought this gun, I was in the market for some auto, and I looked into the Remingtons, but Remington has gotten so high on their products now, and they really have gone downhill in their quality control, production department, stuff like that. They put cheap metal in the guns, and they wear out quickly. My dad had purchased a Remington Express Super Magnum 870, and I used to shoot that gun. I hunted with it for a number of years, and I shot it quite a bit, and I actually wore the action lock bar spring into, so the gun wouldn't lock up in the battery. The action would close, but you couldn't fire it. Took it to a gunsmith, and I asked him how much the part was, and at the time it was, I think, $2, and they were going to charge me $50 to order it. So I said, order me the part, I'll come pick it up, and I'll put it in myself. When I went back to pick it up, they asked me if I had the gun, and they installed it free of charge, because it literally takes 30-40 seconds to install it. I mean, there's nothing to it. But that's just the problem that I haven't had to deal with this gun. I've shot this gun quite a bit. But as with any guns, you got to keep them clean. Now, I have had issues with this gun with light hammer strike. You got to get in there, pull the bolt apart, hit it with some engine degreaser. That's generally what I'll use, because you do get a lot of gunpowder residue build up in here, especially with your Federal shells. For some reason, the stuff that Federal puts in their shells is extremely dirty. And matter of fact, I pulled this gun apart, cleaned it, took it duck hunting with some Federal shells, fired it twice, and just off the 2 shells, it was caked full of gunpowder residue. I mean, it was crazy. So anyhow, if you kind of tend to neglect things like I do on occasion, I usually only pull this receiver apart and clean it at the end of the hunting season. About halfway through the season, I will dry fire this gun the day of my hunting trip, just to break all that stuff up in there, so I know that the gun's going to go off. Because I have had this thing fail to fire due to a light hammer strike a couple of times, and it's cost me a few deer. But anyhow, this gun, they come with pitch plates so that the drop comb is adjustable for when you shoulder this firearm. Now, this gun, they do come with True Glow little plastic fiber optic beads in the end of it. Now, this particular gun, I lost that bead at some point last year, and it just slid out, fell out in the woods somewhere, gone, never to be found again. And all I ended up doing was taking a piece of receipt paper, roll it up, and obviously I wet it a little bit and slid it up in there so that it expanded because it was wet. And it hadn't come back out, and it's actually holding in there fairly well. So eventually I probably will end up replacing it, but I'm not too terribly concerned about it right now, because that white shows up extremely well compared to what that orange did. I mean, the pink, I guess. But this gun shoots very well. And they're not like the Mossbergs they made back in the 80s, where you pick the gun up and you shake it and you can hear stuff rattling around inside of it. These guns are well put together. When Remington started to go downhill, Mossberg said, hey, we need to step up our game and fill that notch, which they've done extremely well. Personally, I will probably never buy another Remington unless they step their game up. I know they came out with their Versamax, and I have heard some not so flattering things about the Versamax, problems that they're having with these guns, and they cost too much money to have these kind of issues. Now this gun, I think when I bought it, I think I paid $700 for it. But that was right after Mossberg hiked up on their prices. I've got another friend that bought the same exact gun, and he paid, I think he said, around $500 for it. So when they filled the notch, Mossberg realized it, and they said, you know what, we're going to go ahead and jack our prices up, which they've done. But it's not, it was worth it to me to spend this money on this particular gun. But basically everything that every shell that I've put in this thing, it's patterned. Obviously, you have to change your choke tubes. You're not going to throw the improved cylinder in this gun and back off 50 yards and expect the whole load to be on paper. It's not going to happen. You know, you throw your full choke in there and you're shooting buckshot. You should have a fairly high pattern density, but you know, you've got to shoot your guns. You've got to pattern them so you know what it's doing. Again, if you're out hunting and you went in there and you bought this gun, it's got a choke tube in it, and you said, okay, I'm just going to go out, and then you start shooting at deer at, say, 40 yards or 50 yards, and you can't understand why they're running, well, you need to do your homework. Spend the money, shoot the shells. Try your Federal, try your Winchester, try your Remington, all these other, brands that you can find. Find out what shoots best in your gun. This gun in particular, this gun does not like Federal buckshot. Now, that was one thing I should have covered a minute ago, but this gun does not like Federal shell. It loves Remingtons, it loves Winchester, but Federal just don't perform out of this gun. I shot a deer with it about 3 or 4 years ago at literally about 30 yards, and this is going back on patterning your gun. I got to the hunt club, got up there, and I said, shoot, and I went and looked in my truck. I left the house and forgot my shells. Now, a friend of mine was up there, and he said, hey, here, and he gave me a couple of boxes. He gave me a box of 3.5-inch Winchester double-aught copper plate double-X Magnum, and a box of Federal premium 3.5-inch double-aught. First hunt, I killed a small buck that he ran right underneath my stand. I shot him at about 30 feet, and I ended up shooting him a couple more times just to go on ahead and put him down, but after the first shot, there was no reason to shoot that deer again, because the entire load had hit him, and it was about the size of a baseball. I mean, it was devastating. But he was still trying to get back up, so I did the humane thing, and I shot him again. I personally will not cut a deer's throat. I know people that do it. I will not do it, and I won't let anybody do it around me, because it's terrible. It's inhumane. If you shot that deer and he's not dead, shoot him again. It's not wasting the shell. You're being a humane hunter and doing the correct thing. I mean, I wouldn't want anybody to cut my throat. That's just the way I feel about it. Now, got that deer out, back of the truck. We went and did the next hunt, and I had basically run out of the Winchester shell, so I had the Federal shells in the gun. And another deer crossed the path at about 30 yards, and I hit that deer from the shoulder all the way clear to his butt, and I shot half the load, went over top of it. So that deer ended up running off, and I had to track him. He still didn't run far, ran about 50 yards before we piled up. But at 30 yards, there's no excuse for that shot to spread like it did. So again, back on that, pattern your gun. Now this gun, I'm gonna pick y'all up. I was hunting up in Emporia, Virginia, and I killed that deer with this gun with a load of triple-aughts. I shot him at, I don't know, probably about 30 feet. He was real close. But, and then I also killed these ducks with that gun, shooting Winchester blindsides through that choke tube, or through that Carlson's extended full waterfowl choke tube. So, but that's just something to think about. Pattern your guns, know how they shoot, and hopefully this will help anybody out that wanted to get into hunting that wasn't real sure about what they were doing. Obviously, you should always go with somebody who's experienced, to kind of get your bearings on what you're doing. So anyhow, I hope this helped y'all out, and y'all take care, stay classy.